Are grading the picks and breaking down the teams. We're starting off with the Houston Texans, and certainly for them, an interesting draft. Did they answer their quarterback question with Deshaun Watson in the first round? That's really the biggest question, I think, for this team in this draft, right, Bucky?
Well, I mean, that is the biggest question. They made a bold move to go up and get Deshaun Watson, so the draft will ultimately be determined on how he plays. If he plays well, then it's hey, they hit it out the park. The big thing with Deshaun Watson and why I believe this is a great fit, he's the most experienced quarterback coming out. He has a winning pedigree, and they're surrounding him with the kind of weapons that we saw kind of in Dallas with an experienced team. I believe this is a guy that should have immediate success when he steps onto the field. Just he has to beat out Tom Savage.
I mean, who would have thought that would be the conversation we're having right now? Is Deshaun Watson going to beat out Tom Savage for a starting role? Does he, though?
Maybe. But I think we have to give Tom Savage a little bit of respect here.
Why?
Because
he's earned it?
He's had injury problems. Last year, people talked about Brock Osweiler playing at the end of the year because Savage got hurt.
He's always hurt, though.
I get it. But
he's always hurt.
I don't like to blame guys for getting hurt. And number two, look, he has shown some flashes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone
I'm just saying
with him.
The juxtaposition of the videos.
So you're telling me you think Deshaun Watson is week one starter?
You have more touchdowns than Tom Savage?
All right, calm down.
You know that?
Are you saying Deshaun starts
week
week
one?
one?
You have more touchdowns than Tom Savage.
Week one.
You should start for the Houston Texans.
All right, I tried to give the guy a little respect.
A little undersized, Buck.
I mean, obviously, I was taking the minority view here, Well, everyone thinks Deshaun Watson's going to play. I'm just
I don't think he necessarily needs to be.
Appreciate that.
He doesn't necessarily need to be the week one starter, but I believe he's fast-tracked to be the starting quarterback because sometime during this year. Because if they really felt that Tom Savage was going to be that guy, then they would
he has been hurt a lot. I got to agree with Bucky there.
National championship caliber guy is your favorite pick. Who's the surprise pick?
Surprise pick, Dante Foreman. I'm only surprised that he went in the third round. This is a guy that kind of reminds me of Jay Ajayi from Miami, Pro Bowl running back. Big, physical, straight-line runner. Has a little quickness. How does he fit in with Lamar Miller? Last year, the Houston Texans really tried to grind it out with Lamar Miller. He couldn't really weather and stand up to the challenge. Now you get a bigger back, a physical back, can run downhill. It's going to be important that if you think about playing a young player, that you have a run game to support him and complement him. They got a championship caliber defense. They got weapons on the outside. They just need a big, bruising running back that can shorten the game and allow Deshaun Watson to keep the pitch count to 25 passes or fewer.
I'm excited to see him at the next level, though, because despite the fact that he's a thumper in the way he runs with his feet on the ground, as you described him, Bucky, he's also one of those guys where it wasn't like the UT had a ton of options last year. You knew you were going to get a dose of Foreman, and he got his yards. Maybe he'll get him for the Texans. And if he does, that could change this grade down the road. What is it today, though?
I'm going to give it B. B solid. B is almost like a participation trophy. Nice draft for the Texans. It all depends on Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has to play. If he plays well, then everything is great.
I always got those in baseball because I wasn't any good. I just say that Lamar Miller, people wondered why the Dolphins didn't use him more. He never seemed to get more than 20 carries. We saw it last year. When he got the workload, he got nicked up. I think this was a smart move.
All right, staying in the South, going to the Indianapolis Colts now as we take a look at how the top of their draft board shook out. You see Zach Banner on there, a Marlon Mack sighting. But let's go straight to the top of the board for Bucky's best overall pick.
Best overall pick, Malik Hooker. And I love Malik Hooker and what he's able to do as a center field safety. You heard the comparisons over and over again. People compared him to Ed Reed. Chuck Pagano, who coached Ed Reed in Baltimore, even compared him to Ed Reed.
That's
is a
about
center field playmaker, guy that can take
the
ball away. 7 interceptions last year, 3 that he took back and put in the paint. Outstanding playmaker. They needed someone in the middle of the field that could stop the ball from flying over the defense's head. This is what Malik Hooker does.
Well, to underscore that need, 97.5 passer rating against 28th in the league, 27th in passing yards per game allowed. Really, this is one of the biggest issues facing the Colts.
Yeah, if you look at Andrew Luck's numbers and then you look at the numbers of the opponents of the Colts had better numbers because of that defense. New GM Chris Ballard didn't get cute, okay? There's no Philip Dorsett in this draft, taking that instead of, and no offense to Philip Dorsett, but they needed defense when they took him. Chris Ballard and that personnel staff made sure that they got defensive players, and it started in the first round. There's no way this guy doesn't help immediately.
Hey, big surprise, they went back to the Buckeye State in this draft, Bucky?
Yeah, just a little surprise. Terrell Basham, I understand they needed a pass rush. Just kind of surprised that he was there and available. This is a guy that is a rugged player, MAC Defensive Player of the Year. hard-nosed. We call him kind of a hard-head and a lunch pail guy. He's an all-day sucker. You're going to have to block him from snap to whistle. He's not going to give up. His relentlessness, his effort, his desire is going to lead to a lot of garbage sacks. Look for this guy to be a productive contributor to this defense.
All right, your grade?
I'm going to give them a solid B+. So it's more than a participation trophy. It's a little more than that. B+, good effort.
Well, you said that Tom Savage wasn't going to hold off Deshaun Watson. How long does Marcus Hunt hold off?
Not long.
No,
not long. Not long. I think he plays more inside. Basham's going to play more on the outside. But Marcus Hunt.
Marcus, he can block some kicks, though.
He can.
He's a big guy. Hey, let's go to the Jags, shall we? As we continue in the AFC South, and you see Leonard Fournette, boy, running back with a lot of upside potentially. You go down the rest of their board.
There, man.
Yeah, Bucky, who stands out for you here? Is it that guy right there, the running back?
The guy at the top, Leonard Fournette. I know people hate this because everyone believes that Ezekiel Elliott's in another stratosphere when it comes to playmaking. But Leonard Fournette can have Ezekiel Elliott-like effect on the Jaguars, meaning that he is going to give them an offensive identity.
He just doesn't have that line blocking for him, though, and that's the big question mark.
He doesn't, but he can tote the mill. He's going to tote the rock. They got weapons on the outside. His physicality and toughness is going to be enough to make people change the way they approach the Jaguars. The Jaguars also got some other weapons on the outside in the passing game to help them, but in the end, the Jaguars' success will come down to Blake Bortles. Leonard Fournette is going to make Blake Bortles a better quarterback if he can play in this league. We'll find out quickly because he's going to command a lot of attention.
And that if may hinge on, just how efficient he can be. 3.8 yards per carry for their primary backs last year. 22nd in the league in rushing yards per game. They've got to get better.
So you're saying the Chris Ivory signing didn't work out?
I'm just saying they need more.
It was a rare thing with Ezekiel Elliott last year. We always hear the draft analysts say, well, they're going to find that the holes they had in college aren't what they had in the pros. Actually, with Ezekiel Elliott, they were better in the pros.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen with Leonard Fournette, although they did take the big tackle in the second round. And I think what they're trying to do is just reduce Blake Bortles' pass attempts. I bet you Blake Bortles throws 80 to 100 balls less than he did last year, reduce interceptions. Remember, they made some signings on defense in free agency. I think they want to run the football and play defense.
If he throws 80 to 100 fewer passes, that's less passes for your surprise pick to snack and
Dede Westbrook. Dede Westbrook from Oklahoma is a big-time playmaker. He's a guy that kind of reminds me of T.Y. Hilton, Deshaun Jackson, and his ability to take the top off the defense. Guy averaged 18 yards per catch at Oklahoma.
That's good.
Has 17 touchdowns his final season at Oklahoma. He is a terrific playmaker. A little undersized, 5'11", 175, which is why the comparisons to Deshaun Jackson come in there. But he ran 4.34. He has the ability to take the top off. He's going to make plays down the field. If Blake Bortles can get it anywhere close to him when he throws it down the field, they're going to score points. Run it, throw deep. That's the way you play football, old-fashioned way under Tom Coughlin. I know he's not the coach, but he has a direct line to Doug Marrone. I think we're going to see them play a different style of football than we saw before.
Well, I think when this evaluation process after the college football season's over, people sometimes forget just how good these guys were. Dede Westbrook, a Heisman caliber player, certainly.
Come on, Biletnikoff Award winner.
Yeah. So how does that affect the grade?
A+.
Woo! Wow.
A+.
Wow.
Times are changing in Jayville. Buy your tickets. They going to the playoffs.
Maybe they're going to print some more shirts along with the
we can print the shirts.
Hey.
The shirts we're printing there with the AFC South champs right there in Jacksonville.
Just
Wow.
one thing. I commend the Jags for not getting in the quarterback sweepstakes. Give Bortles one more year, see what you have, and if he doesn't show you, then do it next year.
I just remember it was a year ago. Everyone was writing those Jags are on the move.
Different time.
Different team right now.
Different time.
Hey.
Less is more. Blake Bortles. Less Blake Bortles is more success for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I do like that narrative.
From the Jags.
I do like that narrative.
No,
I like the
squad.
narrative that's happening in Tennessee. Marcus Mariota continues to progress, and this roster continues to be added to with some of the guys you see on this list. Adoree Jackson is the guy we want to talk about right now, that cornerback out of USC. Entertaining guy, entertaining playmaker.
You know what, Mark? I want you to close your eyes and I want you to see visions of Devin Hester and Asante Samuel, because when Adoree Jackson takes the field, that's what you're getting. You're getting a guy on the outside that's going to be a playmaker that can get picks off of nice plays, instincts, and intelligence. But then in the kicking game, that's where the magic happens. He's going to be a guy that puts the ball in the paint a couple of times on punt and kick returns. Outstanding athlete, terrific player. I'm just saying.
I tell you,
He's one of those special guys.
Close your eyes, the magic happens. We're like doing tarot card readings here.
I get it.
Titans.
Well, you might want to close your eyes when you take a look at how this secondary played last year. Not a secondary you could adore. too.
Make
a
Mark.
George Jackson reference. 30th in passing yards a game
What did Warren
allowed.
Buffett say about that?
Break it down, Elliot.
Hey, I like this. They got Logan Ryan. I mean, they're addressing the one thing that really ailed them last year. I know they needed talent outside. They did that in the first round. I like the Titans to be in the playoffs. I think the Titans are your AFC South winner in 2017.
You think so?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Surprising
10-6,
pick.
Buck. Run the football. They're going to play better defense. I think they have the
They play better than the top 10 defense that we already have in Jacksonville.
Second best quarterback in the
In
division.
Jayville, they're already a top 10 defense.
I think the difference between the Jags and Titans defense is like this. The difference between the quarterbacks, like that.
Marcus Mariota, man, you already ready to give him a bust and put him in the hall.
Can we get your grade? Quick.
I'm gonna give him an A.
This
I give him an
segment,
A.
we
I'm gonna
should
give him
do
an A. But before I get to it, I got to talk about Corey Davis. Corey Davis is a guy that was a surprise to me. He comes in from the MAC, big time playmaker, was the first receiver taken. Didn't know that he was gonna be a top 5 pick, but the way they manipulated the board was terrific. They wanted to get a wide receiver in the corner in the first 2 picks. They flipped the order that most of us thought, got the receiver that they want, came back and got the dynamic athlete in Detroit Jackson. It worked for them. A, which the last time I went to school is a little below an A+ that I saw in Jacksonville.
It's still, I think it's still the case there. By the way, I just think this division in general, as you look across
Fascinating.
the board, right?
Fascinating.
It's
You're gonna have
not
to be-
the
Who
Colts
do
and
you have,
everybody
Mark?
else.
He
You
says
gotta be
Jags.
physical.
I say Titans. Who do you got? Based on the draft, what
I'm
we've seen.
gonna stick with Tennessee just because I like watching Marcus Mariota play.
How you like them
but
apples?
look, I've been wrong before. It wouldn't be the first time.